Yo, what's up guys, it's Talon. So today we're going to be showing you guys a really stacked legendary ranked lobby with a bunch of sovereigns in it. And I want to show you guys how I'm already ranked 17 as well in Legend Queue. The current stats after the first full day of legendary ranked. We are 8-4 in our games total and been having some really nice games. We're going to show you a game with the current rank 1 legendary ranked player in the game. It's Corrupt. I'm not going to tell you guys who he is right away, but I'll go to the leaderboards. You'll see rank 1 currently, I believe, is still Corrupt. Now it's Jackie, actually, but Corrupt was rank 1 for a long time in Legend Queue. And so we're going to show you guys a gameplay with him and a lot of other really high elo players. So let's get right into it. Alright guys, so getting right into the game, we're playing Warwick top lane. I played autofill, and 11 of my 12 games I played either support or ADC, just queuing autofill because none of the duo queue abusers want to play ranked or want to play legendary rank because they know they're going to get exposed. And so this is the only game that we do not play a duo lane role. So I'm definitely going to have duo lane videos for you guys showing you how to play in solo queue, you know, with randoms. But in this game we have 7 total sovereigns participating in this game, and pretty much all of my games last night were like 6+ sovereign peaks for the most part. And here you're going to notice already, this is what higher level players will do. They have the advantage in the early game. This Lee Sin does, obviously on the Nyla, and he knows how broken Nyla is in the late game. As these junglers are both sovereign players. Again, you guys will see the end screen at the end of the game to kind of reveal the players. I think that's a fun thing we'll start doing in these videos, is kind of reveal them at the end. But I basically understand my job in this game is not to 1v9 and carry. My job is to make sure my Nyla can get to the late game. So all I'm doing is just looking at this Lee Sin very menacingly, just making sure that my Nyla can potentially at least farm, at least trying to do something, and just kind of stalling out time, because I know I'm better in these skirmishes than a champion like Malphite would be. And so I'm really just trying to kind of deny Malphite as much as I can. But it ends up getting really awkward here, just because of the nature of the fact that our Lissandra didn't have the push early, and then we also had our, obviously Nyla's quite weak in the early game, and so then we just have to pray that Nyla hits the smite, and Nyla does end up hitting the smite there, but Malphite gets the level advantage, and it ends up being a really awkward scenario where you just end up being in a really awkward fight. So a very weird early game, but like, again, this is the type of stuff you guys will actually see because there's actual coordination between everyone, because they're either a sovereign player or at the very least like a decently skilled player in every role. There is a lot more autofill because of the fact that there's lower amounts of players. And so if you're a one trick on one role, you're going to struggle. One of my teammates, my Lissandra, is a one trick on Vi jungle, and they do not get Vi jungle this game, obviously. And so we see them struggle a bit, but they're still able to provide utility, because even the players who will struggle off of their one trick, they'll at least understand the basics of the game and still be able to, you know, find some amount of value. So even like the players who are having bad games or who are, you know, kind of inting, so to say, the ints are so much different, where it's just like, oh, they're getting punished for making an actual mistake. Like I had a game, for example, I remember, I played Corky. I played like complete trash in that game. But even after my mistakes early game, because my team was pretty good, we were able to almost come back. And at the end of the day, like I was dealing a bunch of damage and I was still able to get quite strong, just because my team's able to kind of facilitate that. And I, as a player who, even if I'm having a bad game, I still know what to do from behind, I'm able to still, you know, at least find some value. And so that's the really nice thing too about these types of games. And so again, you can see how I'm kind of rotating mid. I'm kind of trying to see if I can find anything. And the reason for that is because I don't care about this Malphite's gold. I don't care if he gets ahead of me. I don't care if I get ahead of him. Like I said, my pure job is facilitator in this game. And so I'm just going to, in whatever way I can, try to make sure my Nyla doesn't have the worst time ever. So even if I just bait a gank, if anything like that happens, I'm perfectly happy. So I'm trying to kind of put myself out there. I'm trying to see if, you know, I can potentially get ganked or draw anything, because I have my ultimate to escape anyways. So we're just going to trade with him a bit. We're just going to try to push the wave and everything like that. So you can just see, again, we're just going to trade onto the Malphite. The more trading we do in this lane, the better, because we're going to win those trades when they get more extended, because of all the sustain and healing we have. So we want to keep kind of pushing through there and everything like that as much as we possibly can. And again, that's just kind of understanding your role in the game. Like the nice thing about Legend Queue, you don't have to be carrying every game. You don't have to play every game to just 1v9. And I'm definitely going to be showing you guys losses in Legend Queue more frequently. I'm not going to say whether this is a loss or a win, but I'm definitely going to start showing you guys more losses. Because they're just like higher quality losses. Like normally when I play regular ranked, my loss is just, oh, my teammate decided he didn't want to win, or my teammate is a master peak against a sovereign jungle. Like, you know, it's just not very balanced. But I've had games here, you know, in the last day where I've been playing. I've played 12 games in the last day and a half because it kind of opened halfway through one of the days. And we've had losses where I was just like, yeah, I could have played better. My team could have played a little better, but like the game felt fine. I wasn't like pissed off. I wasn't like, oh my god, what are they doing? You know, like it was just nice. I had one game where I did have a Wukong ADC that maybe that game was a bit, you know, interesting. But most of the games have been pretty high quality overall, and so that's kind of the nice thing, is just the quality of the games. So here we're just rushing Sunder. We're not going to quite get Sunderer, but I'm not rushing defensive boots because Malphite doesn't do that much damage. So I'm more concerned with getting that damage onto him initially. Then we're just kind of, again, going to try to set up our Nyla here. So because Nyla's going for the Herald, we're just going to make sure we're going right, following the Nyla. I accidentally walk into a bubble. You guys didn't see that. I told you, there's always a you didn't see that play every game. And so this is one of them this game. But overall, we're just trying to, again, mess with the Lee Sin. So we end up going on to him. And I believe we end up killing him. Yeah, we do. So we go there, we pop off onto him, and now we got the trail onto the Zoe. So we're trying to get the Zoe. We end up getting our first ability onto the Zoe. Then the Malphite goes forward, so we end up going straight onto the Malphite and absolutely popping off in this fight. And we time the auto attack to get it. So we get a triple kill. We get the ensemble, and now I'm absolutely fed out of nowhere because, again, that is the strength of my champion. I wasn't even on great items in that fight, but because Warwick's early game is so strong and his skirmishing is so strong, we're able to do that. And now I can just draw permanent pressure pretty much on everyone because, again, we targeted the jungle really well to make sure the jungle couldn't smite there, and then we end up killing him and just going on to pretty much everyone and absolutely popping off. So we're going to get first turret here as well, then we can recall for our Sunderer if we need. I don't remember if I recall or if I go for another turret. I think I might end up going for another turret because no Malphite response. So yeah, I probably just recall here, spend my gold most likely. And so now I'm up like 2,600 on the Malphite just because of that pop off there. So now we want to go and definitely see if we can potentially help out on that objective. So I buy the TP to just go TP straight onto the Malphite. I buy my item mid kind of jump, and then we end up, or onto the Lee Sin, I mean. And so we go onto Lee Sin, we make him waste his kick, and we end up getting the kill on him as well. So again, that TP really helps me kind of get onto the objective and potentially snowball for my team. I don't care about Malphite being on the other side of the map there. Like, what is a Malphite doing? I'd rather, again, put my Nyla in a position to potentially pop off, get a bunch of free kills myself here, play around the rest of my laners. I'm really trying to be very mobile. Meanwhile, Malphite's just kind of stuck there doing nothing. Again, because that champion just doesn't do much. If you do get a lead like this and you start moving all around the map, it's like, okay, a Malphite's on my turret. I don't really care. We go for the Wit's End because we already have armor boots and we have a little bit of magic damage on their team, you know, with the Zoe, and Malphite does do some magic damage as well, even when he's building tanks. So we're overall pretty happy with this kind of itemization we get here. We can then go for a Terminus and then just like Twin Guard after that for just, you know, good damage, but some tankiness later on in the game. And so now, again, what are we doing? We're going to look straight for that invade. We're going to set up our jungle, and because our jungle is a sovereign player, he knows that I'm looking for that, and so he's totally, you know, aware of this. And so we set it up, but then, okay, the Malphite actually understands what's happening because, again, we're just in a higher rank, so these people all understand kind of what's going on. But we find that invade angle, we get the Lee Sin, and again, we're just absolutely dominating them right now, setting up our team really nicely and kind of making the game playable when it would have felt really hard otherwise. We go on to the Malphite there again, and I believe we end up killing him there. So we're godlike, we're completely popping off. And again, a lot of that is awareness of jungle, right? Awareness of where their jungle was, you know, on that red buff right there. My first kill was on the jungle, back on the Herald. We're just kind of keeping track of the jungle well, and then really making his game kind of miserable to play. We TP'd onto him at Dragon 2. So you can tell this Lee Sin definitely does not like me very much. Based on just how much we're trying to shut him down and make his game really hard to play. And then by that, you know, gameplay, our Nyla has a 1,400 gold lead, even after the early invade did not go our way. So overall, you know, definitely looking quite good. But all of the gold lead is on me and the Nyla. Pretty much no one else is doing super well. Our Nami's doing well, but it's a Nami. They're not going to, you know, have a bunch of gold. So it's kind of up to us three to really carry this game because the other two, the ADC and the mid, are not having great games overall. So that's kind of what this game comes down to, is kind of, you know, us versus their, you know, more fed carries in this game. But You're going to see here, because of the blood trail, I end up going onto the Zoe and trying to kill her, but I get really greedy here. And you're going to see greed a couple times definitely be a bit of a mistake that I make there. So we got greedy there trying to kill her. Didn't really need to do that. We end up making a pretty big mistake, and that's kind of where a little bit of a throw happens. Luckily, we don't like hard throw that. We're still in a fine spot. But yeah, you're going to see some more greed from me, and definitely some mistakes there. And that's a nice thing too. Like, honestly, you can make mistakes. And obviously those mistakes sometimes can be game losing, but like if you make a mistake or two, it doesn't feel like, oh my god, my game's over, I can't play anymore, because you actually usually have teammates who can, you know, follow up with you and are actually like pretty decent, and the skill levels are just great. I've had pretty much only challengers and sovereigns in my games. I've had some GM peaks. I think there's a GM peak or two in here in this lobby, but like overall, the games are just super high quality, and it's just really nice. I mean, I seriously, like, this is the best, like, most enjoyable experience I've had playing Wild Rift in a very long time. And I enjoy playing Wild Rift always. Like, I almost always enjoy it. If I'm really tilted, you know, maybe I'm going to be annoyed or whatever, but I almost always enjoy the game. But like, these games are just so much higher quality. It feels like I can actually get better at the game and improve, and I'm not just trying to stomp a guy whose skill level doesn't even, you know, close to match mine. So I really recommend you guys trying to grind. And again, notice how we're always trying to mess up with the jungle here. But if you guys, you know, really like, I really recommend trying to get to master and queuing up legend queue. Like, I want there to kind of be a stigma around people almost who play ranked. Like, obviously you should play what's fun for you, but I don't want people who play ranked to be viewed as good. Like, I don't care if you're sovereign, I don't care if you're anything, right? Obviously sovereign right now kind of means something because most people don't play legend ranked, but I want there to eventually be kind of like, are you legend? You know, are you immortal? If you're not legend or immortal, I don't care if you're sovereign, that type of thing. But again, we find a nice engage here where their Lee Sin was not with their team. And so when Lee Sin's not there, it made sense for us to look for an engage quick to try to force in that 5v4. And that's another thing. When you're in these higher ranks, you can really have these kind of small angles where you force when, you know, maybe a jungle is just farming an extra camp that maybe they shouldn't have farmed, or something like that. And then you force that quick 5v4, you get those picks, and now you have, you know, a really good position that you're in to potentially force an objective or do something like that. So again, we just try to mess with the Lee Sin. That's literally what I'm doing all game. I'm just trying to make Lee Sin absolutely hate me. Our Lysandra finds a really good engage there. Nice Nami bubble to follow up. And I believe we end up killing the Zoe here. We do, yeah. So then we get the Lee as well. And yeah, we kind of pop off there. So again, absolutely popping off and carrying on the Warwick so far. But then I think I might get greedy here. I don't remember if we end up killing or not. No, I think we kill. Surely we kill, right? Yeah, we kill him. Okay, but then I get greedy ulting here. I didn't really need to ult. It doesn't do anything, but yeah. Either way, still, you know, going very well at this point. Really doing a nice job snowballing the game. But you're going to see, again, it's also a lot harder to not throw into higher players. Like, they understand how to catch throws. When you make a mistake, they're going to punish it. They're going to get a Baron off of one int. They're going to do these types of things. And so that's the nice thing, too, is, like, you can't just play well for 95% of the game. And you're going to see, again, soon we're going to get really greedy, and it's going to look quite poor at that point. And again, you can see, like, me and my Nyla have like 11k gold each, and then everyone else on my team's like 8 or 9k. So it's really up to us in a lot of ways to carry, because the enemy carries are doing a lot better gold wise. So that is something that, you know, we have to keep in mind. I end up trying to TP here to try to chase down the Lee Sin, and then look at this nice camp. I honestly think this is a pretty good play by them. I mean, they see me going here, so it's greedy by me. It's stupid, but like, they're aware that I'm going to look for him because he's low health and everything, and they end up camping me. And again, complete throw by me, completely dumb. But those are the things you don't get punished for, you know, in the lower ranks. And I'm talking about it a lot because I really want to emphasize to you guys how much better quality these games are and how much more you can improve when you start playing in these legendary rank games. Now, obviously, and Alistar saves the Nyla there, which is pretty funny. So, you know, sometimes people still make mistakes. People still do dumb things, even if you're in a higher rank. But obviously, you know, when more people reach Master, there will be more Master and Grandmaster peak players in legendary ranked. So it's of course going to get lower quality in the lower ranks, but then at that point the higher ranked players will be in, you know, Vanquisher and Immortal and these types of things, and then they'll be playing against each other, and so it'll still be fine. Here we see our blood trail onto the Malphite, so we end up going igniting, or the Alistar. We go and kill the Alistar, so we now want to see if we can try to zone them off of the Baron. So I'm going to activate my blood trail again onto that Zoe and just try to see if we can potentially deny this. But notice again, we don't get as greedy to stop the Baron when we realize we can't stop it. Like, a lot of times what happens is enemy will get Baron and your entire team will suicide to try to save it. And that's just not necessary in this scenario, for example. Like, there's no reason to go for it. So instead, and one of my teammates does die, but like not the entire team dying like it would usually happen. And so instead, what do? I go and I decide to get the wave, right? Because if I get the wave, at least they're not going to get as much value out of that Baron. And so instead of, over forcing, trying to do something dumb, of course, first I check, can I kill them? Can I not? Okay, I can't kill them. Let me go push out these waves. Now there's multiple waves that I'm pushing so that the Baron won't be as effective, and they're not going to just get 9 inhibs and win the game off of one Baron. Because that is definitely one of the reasons that Baron is so effective. And then here, I mess up an auto attack, which is really sad. You're going to watch this. I feel like I should have definitely killed him here. But yeah, we end up missing an auto attack when I try to flash onto him here. Like, I just don't click my button. I drag it, and then I don't click it, and then I don't try to tap it. I don't tap it. I was really sad there. So we end up having a really negative scenario there. But again, we were so close to getting that outplay, and that's the nice thing too. You're just looking for these actual outplays, and the people are going to play it well. They're going to stasis and time their things properly. Their team's going to follow up and try to save them. All these things. But yeah, our team ends up getting caught here. Nyla's pushing out the wave. And again, notice how Nyla pushes out that wave. That's really good for us because now the enemy can't push on every wave, right? They're only going to be able to push on mid and bot. And the mid and bot aren't pushing as quick because we pushed them out earlier. So those waves that we cleared and those waves that Nyla cleared end up being extremely substantial for our chance at winning this game. Now, it's still looking very poor because they're getting our inhibs, but it's just about, they're not going to be able to end the game because now there's only 30 seconds left on that Baron, and that was in a worst case scenario where we ended up kind of throwing there. And so now we try to go onto the Zoe, but she has the flash up. And I try to zone here because there's no objective that matters. We each have one dragon, so I don't care about the next dragon. And so my goal here was to try to stall, get them low enough to see if Nyla can maybe pop off. Now, I end up dying. Definitely could have just not gone forward there, but in my opinion, that death doesn't really matter. Because at the end of the day, if we look at it, right, there's just a dragon that nobody cares about. They don't have Baron anymore. They're not going to end the game. I gave them 300 gold. I don't care about that. And we had the potential to have Nyla pop off because my Nyla is 16,000 gold, 4 items, absolutely, extremely fed here. And that is what Nyla does best. So now we're really looking for the Nyla pop off at this point. We had a really good early game as Warwick, but then I kind of, made some dumb mistakes later on. But we were able to transfer a lot of that lead to Nyla, and Nyla did a really good job of farming and finding gold. And so that's kind of the nice thing. Again, you're playing the early game champ, you get that lead, and your Nyla or your late game jungle is going to usually know how to take advantage of it a lot better. And so those are just some of the things that I think are really nice to have as well in your games. But they get the dragon, which, again, we don't really care about since we have one, so they don't get the soul. And now we just got to make sure these lanes are pushing a little bit, so that we can potentially get the Baron, because we're quite strong in terms of combat due to the fact that Nyla's 4 items. And so if Nyla does not die here and I'm able to go onto someone and one-shot them, as you see here, where we just go onto the Samira and we follow her through her dash, then we might be in a pretty good spot, because now Nyla's going to be able to absolutely shred through them, and then she's just going to start popping off. But Lee Sin does get a nice kick there, so we're just going to try to chase down the Malphite at this point with our Blood Trail passive, but I don't believe we're able to end up catching him, so we end up just having to back off here. Yeah, the Zoe almost kills us, but we're fine with our third ability. And then Nyla goes in. I think kills the Lee Sin. Yeah, and so now we can just do the Baron here. So again, that's the late game Nyla power. That's why Nyla is one of the best junglers in the game. And you saw it's rank 1 Nyla on our team. So yeah, overall, we just end up getting this Baron here. And now the game's kind of shifting again in our favor. Because I have teleport, I can also go towards the top side straight away, which is kind of nice. So that's the nice thing about teleport as well. I usually do go for Gargoyle, but I went for teleport because of that one play early on the Lee Sin there. And I just kept it there because it ended up getting me a lot of value anyways. And so it's kind of nice that I can push out waves in side lane and then just TP in a little late. That's definitely always a nice thing to have as a top laner. But yeah, our teammate gets caught here again. So definitely our like 2 carries were getting caught a lot. But he drags them far enough where now we can go on to them. And the Nyla can get the kill onto the Alistar, and then I believe I ultimate on to Malphite. No, we don't end up. So I'm looking for an ultimate onto the Elder, because I thought they might be doing Elder and trying to sneak it through us, because that would kind of be their last resort at this point. And so now we're just trying to find Lee Sin. Like, all that really matters is finding Lee Sin. As long as we're able to do that, then we're perfectly happy. I want to make sure my Nyla can't get caught, so we end up, walking forward to try to zone. And we just keep zoning here. So there is a bot wave that's pretty scary, but we kind of know we just have to fight here and hope that we win the fight. So that's pretty much just what we do. Nyla ends up going in and absolutely popping off. We go on to the Lee Sin. We kill Lee Sin. I think we kill Zoe. Nah, she's really fast. I don't know if I end up killing her. My Blood Trail's pretty fast too, though. Yeah, we end up killing them. And so we get the double kill there, pop off, and we win the game. Definitely shout out to Nyla for the carry later on in the game, because we definitely hinted a bit. So we hit this, and then we're going to show you guys, again, Corrupt. was the Nyla. He is rank 1 Nyla. He is currently rank 2 in in Legend Q, which is Wild Rift, because that's the mode that we should care about. But if we look at this, obviously I'm Sovereign, Corrupt is Sovereign, Len's Sovereign, Gongster's Sovereign, Soju Rain's Sovereign, there's Zoe is Sovereign, and Valhalla was last season's rank 1. So we had last season's rank 1, this season's rank 1, now rank 2, Corrupt's now rank 2. A Sovereign, I'm also a Sovereign. I was last season top 10 as well. Soju Rain, Sovereign, and they're mid. So it was a really high elo gameplay again, which I think is really nice. And even the players who were the lower ranks, still good players, still played pretty well, just made some mistakes or get punished because they are playing against Sovereign players. But overall, I just want to emphasize how much Legend Q should be focused on and played this season, guys. So definitely hope that you guys get on that grind as well. And I will see you in the next video.